What's good, everybody? It's Joe, and I come back at you with another video. So, this video, I actually want to tell a story this time, and this story is actually when I received money in the mail, unexpectedly, right? Unexpectedly received money in the mail, and this story was interesting because this one, I want to say this one was probably close to, I think this was like around 2020 ish. So, after the COVID pandemic and when we were in lockdown, right? So, those of you who don't really remember, we were pretty much all stuck in our homes and our apartments and things like that because we wanted to slow down the spread of COVID. So I remember this when I started coming across the information of law of attraction, the secret, all these things. And of course, I felt like even prior to coming across, I feel like I've heard of that information prior, but I never really dove into it. However, when I finally got exposure to it, I started reading and looking into it. They would talk about law of attraction. They would talk about how you could create your reality and how you attract certain events to you and you can make certain things reality. So I said, all right, I'll take your word for it, right? This is me going through the information. I'm like, sure, I'll take your word for it, but I want to apply this and see this for myself and see if it's actually true what's being advertised. So funny enough, I said, you know what? Let me try to see if I can somehow, some way attract money through the mail. And for me, what I did, I was thinking about receiving money in the mail. I would take some time to visualize myself like opening up an envelope and receiving money. And so of course that was fun and was exciting because of course the thought of being able to open up mail and randomly receiving money, like, of course I don't think anyone would complain about that if that happened to them. So that's what I did for, I want to say, a few days. And yeah, that was interesting. Of course I got excited, and I want to say, like, I made that my goal to try to somehow, some way attract money or have it come in through the mail. And I remember, it felt like every time, my mom would check the mail, she would come in with a stack of mail. I would always be like this, kind of like peeking to see if I received anything in the mail, because I rarely ever received mail. I never really looked forward to receiving mail because no mail ever came. At least for me, like, rarely ever. Most things would just come like via email and stuff. But I was always like kind of had my, my eyes peeled in case anything came. So I want to say after a few days, and guys, listen to what I'm about to say. After a few days, I received a piece of mail. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Like, it looked interesting, like the package, because it seemed like a bigger package, with like a bunch of like papers in it. And so I open up the mail, and basically immediately as soon as I open up, I see a $2 bill attached. So of course, like, the light bulb goes off. I'm just smiling, I'm laughing because I already knew what was up. So the $2 bill. Now, of course, $2 in the grand scheme of things, right? $2 can only buy you so many things. However, when I looked at it, I'm just like, wait, like, a $2 bill, like, you don't see $2 bills often. I didn't even know if the government still manufactures $2 bills. Like, I don't know what the case is, but nowadays you never see anyone with a $2 bill. So I looked at that and I was scanning the bill to make sure it was actually real, which it was, because it said like federal bank note or federal bank reserve, and it says this is legal tender to be used to pay off debt. Like all the stuff that it would say on like a normal dollar bill. So I'm like, well, this is a $2 bill. Like, I'm gonna just save it because this could end up being more valuable than $2 because of just how rare it is. So funny enough, I saw the $2 bill is actually taped to the wall, like right behind the camera, so you guys can't see it, but it's literally right there on my wall. Because of course I have to keep it in a safe place. So yes, I opened the envelope and it had a $2 bill. So immediately, of course, I took the money, right? So I'm reading the envelope. I'm reading what came in the mail, and basically, I was randomly chosen to complete a survey from some random entity in like Ohio somewhere. And for context, I live in New York, born and raised in New York, been here my whole life. I've never stepped foot in Ohio, never been there. Probably never even like, yeah, I've never been there. I don't have never had family there. I don't know a single soul from Ohio. So I have no idea how this place ended up getting my name and address and mailing information. But somehow, some way, I was randomly chosen for some survey. And basically, they were saying that if I just completed the survey and like sent it back to them, that they would send me probably like $10 more. So I guess the $2 was just them being nice and saying, "Hey, we chose you. Now, if you were to send a survey, we'll send you like a few more bucks if you were to do it." So knowing me, I just did it because it seemed like a straightforward survey, and if they were so nice enough to send me a rare $2 bill, then I would just do that. And I think they were gonna send me like $10 extra. It was something like that. But this is what I mean. Now, technically, did money come in the mail? Yes, it did. Was I specific as far as the amount of money? No. So I literally got what I asked for, if we're being technical here. But to me, that was funny. It was a good laugh. It's one of those cases where like you were surprised that it happened because it happened, but at the same time you wasn't, because once again you were expecting it to happen. Because for me, that's the energy that was putting out. I'm like, okay, somehow, some way, I want to bring it in. I want to attract money, and I want it to come in the mail. Like I want to somehow receive money in the mail. And shortly after, that's what ended up happening. And money somehow magically came in, right? Once again, from some sort of entity in like Ohio that I have no connection to, no affiliation to, never heard of the company, never heard of the place, don't know how they got my information, but somehow, some way they did, and money came in. And for me, that was like one of the examples of me coming across this information, learning this information, being told that it's possible, and yes, in fact, that's how the universe works. That somehow, some way, events will line up and deliver you what it is that you're asking for, delivering you what it is that you want. And in that case, it did just that. So these are real world, real life examples of events like this happening and it being normal, because now I have that understanding. If it was me prior, one, I would have labeled it as coincidence, but two, I wouldn't have put in thought of wanting to get money through the mail or through unexpected sources, right? But because I focused my energy and my attention to that, that's what ended up unfolding in my life. And it wasn't my opinion, it wasn't by accident, but the universe will make it seem like it's accidental or coincidences so that it can deliver you what it is that you ask for. So of course, me expecting money to come into the mail, which has never happened unless it was obvious that you're like working a job, or where it's like expected for money to come. I'm talking about like where you have no idea that this is on its way. That's what happened, and that's what was delivered to me. So this is just a short story of a real life example. Matter of fact, I'll just actually share with you guys the $2 bill. All right, here it is. So you guys know I'm not lying, right? You see the tape right at the top here because it was just taped on the wall. So as you see, $2 bill, it's a legitimate bill. It has the right here, the black text. It says like official tender. Actual bill. This is what the back looks like. I mean, I'm sure you guys can just Google a $2 bill, but yes, this is the bill that came in the mail for me. And yeah, I look at it all the time and I smile, because this is literally how the universe works. You don't know how something's gonna happen, but if you have the confidence and belief that it will, then it will. So hopefully you guys learned something from this story. Hopefully you begin applying this to your life, knowing that you have so many blessings, and there's so many more blessings on the way, and you can in fact make the life that you want. So keep that story close with you and just have confidence and belief, knowing that you do have power. and that life is supposed to be a joy, it's supposed to be fun, and you can actually make the most out of your life experience. So put a smile on your face knowing that things are going to be just fine and things are going to work out for you. So once again, Joel, and I'll see you guys for the next video.